Episode 5. Ashfall Reach, Fractured Quiet. The first disruption was small enough to be dismissed. A Harmon unit near the eastern dwellings flickered, its steady pulse breaking rhythm for less than a second before stabilizing. Those nearby paused, confused, hands hovering uncertainly, then resumed their routines. The system corrected itself, but it remembered the interruption. Elias did not hide anymore. He and Mara walked the settlement openly, not shouting, not confronting, simply speaking where speaking had been discouraged. Elias asked questions people had forgotten how to answer. When did you last choose without guidance? What did fear sound like before it learned your name? Some turned away immediately, pressure thickening around them like a shield. Others faltered, expressions tightening as something long buried stirred uncomfortably. A woman dropped her Harmon. She stared at it on the ground as if it had bitten her. I thought it was helping, she whispered. The pressure surged violently in response. A bell rang, then another, rapid, irregular. The listener appeared again, no longer alone. Behind him, those long aligned moved with coordinated precision, forming a loose perimeter. Their alterations were clearer now, veins darkened beneath translucent skin, eyes reflecting light at wrong angles, movements efficient to the point of inhuman calm. Unity is required during instability, the listener announced. Disruption will be contained. Contained meant gathered. People were ushered toward the tower, not forced, not threatened, but encouraged with words of care, hands guiding shoulders, Harmon units held close to faces. Elias felt the pressure spike as the system identified him fully, no longer an anomaly, but a variable. You misunderstand your role, the listener said quietly, stepping close. Witness is acceptable when it leads to alignment. You are creating fracture. Fracture exposes fault lines, Elias replied. Peace built on fear is not peace. The listener's expression hardened. Peace is the absence of conflict, he said. Whatever achieves it is justified. The tower bell rang continuously now, its tone no longer soothing, but commanding. Mara cried out as she dropped to one knee, blood seeping from her ear. They are narrowing the range, she gasped. Forcing synchronization. Elias knelt beside her, praying aloud again, his words steady despite the pain pressing inward. The ground vibrated. One of the altered figures faltered, hand going to his head, posture breaking for the first time. He looked at Elias, confusion flickering across his face. I remember, he said faintly. I remember choosing. The listener turned sharply. The Harmon units around them pulsed erratically, their synchronized rhythm breaking into chaotic intervals. The fracture spread. People cried out, some in pain, some in panic, some in clarity. The system responded as it had been designed to do, escalating pressure, tightening unity, sacrificing nuance for control. Elias stood, voice raised now, not in volume, but in presence. You are not safe because you are aligned, he said. You are silent because you are afraid. Fear does not become holy when it is organized. The listener stepped back, something like anger finally breaking through. End this, he commanded. The altered ones moved forward. Mara struggled to her feet. Run, she said again. But Elias did not move. For the first time, he understood that survival was no longer the goal. Faithfulness was. The bell shattered mid-ring, a sharp crack echoing as metal split under strain. Silence fell, deep and unnatural. The pressure vanished. Not faded. Gone. People stood frozen, Harmon units dead in their hands, faces suddenly bare, unbuffered by guidance. The listener looked around, disoriented. This should not be possible, he whispered. Elias felt the weight lift, but knew with certainty that this was not victory. This was exposure. Ashfall Reach had been wounded, not destroyed. And wounded systems, when they cannot persuade, often choose to punish. Discernment focus for this episode. When unity is enforced rather than chosen. When peace is defined as silence. When truth destabilizes systems built on fear.